Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome to the show. Recording this off of my cell phone tonight. Anyway, listen, guys. Maduro today. I heard in the news that they're going to charge him with crimes against humanity, the United Nations, or they're talking about it anyway. I'm going to tell you guys, what difference is there between him and all the other politicians out there? You know what? Between the works of them, they're running everything into the ground. The entire world. The trade war that's going on between China and the United States. The political arena, they're all out there just to get rich, just to get in there and do their term in office and then make as much fame as they can and as much money as they can, and they really don't care about the people. It's lost importance, and this is what Maduro is all about. I mean, he's just the same as all the rest of them. All of them. We finally come to a period in human history, and this was never possible before. But through blockchain technology, there's going to be a number of things that we're able to do that we were never able to do before. One is certified public accountants. Well, the blockchain itself is an autonomous ledger that's on the internet and can never be changed. It's absolutely perfect. It does everything that an accountant would do. And so it makes their job superfluous. What about lawyers? An awful lot of the stuff that lawyers do, is legal work, maybe going to the courthouse and getting the paperwork on some piece of property or something, and, a lot of their work, and all this can be done on blockchain. Legal ownership of properties and stuff can be kept on blockchain. Accessed on a public ledger that verifies that you own your property. But we finally hit a point in time where why not have government on the blockchain and make all of the politicians, and they can't cheat this way. The whole thing is about they get in office and their whole mandate in this modern society that we have today is for them to cheat. Basically, get as much as they can in as little bit of time as they can, and most of them never get caught for what they're doing. There's been a few politicians who have got caught with their hand in the cookie jar, but very, very few, There was a big public trial here in Canada with a politician, can't think of his name right now. Anyway, he was a chubby fella, and he... they had a big public trial with it and everything, but they hardly ever get caught, they work it so that you're never going to be able to actually pin it to them. Very rarely does, and they're almost like a club anyway. I mean, it's just a corrupt system, a totally corrupt system the way we have it now. But blockchain can keep money straight. It could also keep government straight, too. This is the way I see it, anyway. And we never had this technology before 2009, so it's a relatively new technology. Not just for money, but for everything. Everything in our lives, I see it as being extremely useful technology. And when a new technology comes in, a revolutionary technology, it takes time for it to be adopted. Like when they first brought in the light bulb. People were using gas lamps. And, for like 30 years after they invented the light bulb, people were still building houses, and the new houses, they were putting in gas into the houses to run lamps. It's like 30 years after they invented the light bulb. It takes a long time for a new technology that's so far advanced to be fully adopted. And it's the same. It's the same way with the automobile. Why would you need an automobile when you got a perfectly good horse? You know, and the first automobiles didn't work very good, you know, and the guy would be out there trying to use his automobile and going over these ruts, and his automobile gets stuck, and he'd be there trying to turn the crank on it, you know, and trying to get it started again. The guy with the horse would go trotting on by him and laugh at him. Ha, 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 you know. You should get yourself a horse, you know. That thing's a no good. Those useless automobiles, they'll never get anywhere, and people will never buy them. They're expensive, they're stinky, they make a lot of noise. Nobody will ever want that. Well, not when you can have a good horse. Takes a while for a new technology to be developed and for people to actually start to use it. But this technology is so revolutionary. Such a revolutionary way and to keep your money. But it's so useful for other things too. Things that, I mean, our society today, they are actually, quite literally, running the earth into the ground. We do not have security anymore for ourselves or our children. We do not know what's going to happen in the next few months or the next few weeks even. We do not even know if we're going to be able to stay in our house for sure or not. A lot of the people in North America here. And this is because this is the greatest country on earth. All countries are great, in fact. The earth is a wonderfully productive place. How can they run it into the ground so bad that it would give us insecurity with as few people as there are on the earth? There's only 8 billion people on this planet. If this planet was run properly, it could support 50 billion with no problems and not affect the environment. There's only 8 billion people on earth, and they're tearing the environment to pieces too. One big thing is automobiles. You know, I'll just go into this for a minute because I'm not going to talk about it very long, but you know, they had a big program out there just a couple years ago, Cash for Clunkers. They called them clunkers. They had the audacity to call those cars that people were bringing in to trade in for a new car, clunkers. And what were they going to do? They're going to take them out and crush them. Well, I could take one of those clunkers, maybe put a few new parts on it, make a few small repairs on it. I could drive it around the earth 10 times. And it would just keep going and going and going. No, they just take it out and crush it. Oh, it's a clunker. Take it out and crush it. Now, thousands of pounds of steel. Just to make 1 pound of steel wastes how much fresh water is consumed to make 1 pound of steel. They make these cars with something called planned obsolescence. What they'll do is they'll take the car out to the factory, you know, and they'll put it on a machine that like turns the door handle. So the guy, he makes his first prototype door handle. He gives the factory guy puts it on the car and puts it on the machine and starts twisting the door handle. He comes back about 4 days later after it's twisted like 1,000,000 times. Right? And it's still functioning. He says that'll never do. Tear it apart and rebuild it. 1,000,000 times, he says, it's turned and it hasn't broken yet. Make a new one. And the guy makes a new one, he puts it on, and then they put it on a machine that turns for 2 days, and it turns 500,000 times. Right? And then it goes snap. The guy, the big factory manager comes in, and he says, that'll never do either. 500,000's too good. It's lasting too long. That'll last more than the warranty. It'll last 15 years. That's no good. Make another one. So the guy makes the machinist makes another one, you know. And they put it on the machine that starts turning the crank, and it turns it 100,000 times. And then it goes snap. And the guy, the owner that runs the place comes in, and he says, 100,000, right? You got it from 1,000,000 down to 100,000? 100,000 should just about last just past the warranty. That's perfect. Put that one on the car. This is what they do. This is how they're running our country into the ground, little bit by little bit. Things like that. Little things that we hardly notice. Like all the cars in one country will have metric bolts, and they'll use all these funny different sockets and stuff. You know, like for the cars. Like they'll use a little, GM will use a little star head. I mean, you have to buy a special socket for it and everything. All this stuff that they do, the computers on the cars, everything is to make extra money. It's all about money. And it's all about waste of the Earth's environment. It should be illegal to have planned obsolescence. They should build cars with the future in mind. They should build cars, and instead of changing model every year from one year to the next, the parts don't fit. They should have to carry it through, like, for at least 10 years, a certain model. So, and all the parts should be compatible through that whole period. And this would cut down on an awful lot of waste on the Earth's environment. Just alone, stopping the use of metallic paints and only have solid colors. Just that alone would save tons on the Earth's environment of repainting and all the problems that have if a car gets a nick or a scratch and everything, color matching and everything. You know, I mean, it just, the list goes on and on. Standardizing nut and bolt sizes for cars could save tremendous amount on the Earth's environment. And it's not just the automotive industry. It's every facet of our society is almost like it's geared to generate waste. Packaging. Why can't we have recyclable packaging? Why do we have to have a big bag full of garbage that's all just packaging every week? Why can't they go back to things like glass bottles and have you turn the glass bottle back in and they rewash it and use it again? Why do we have to have all these plastic bottles that end up in the landfill? Just on and on and on it goes, you know? And they've structured a system so it's very difficult to support 8 billion people on a planet that should be able to support 50 billion people. And you know, I'm going to tell you guys right up front, cryptocurrency is an absolutely revolutionary invention. And I see cryptocurrency very slowly gaining the toehold, just like the light bulb did, and just like the automobile did. And ultimately, in the end, it's going to not only succeed, but the way they're mismanaging. Now, I've told you guys how they're mismanaging different industries, like the automotive industry and packaging. And I mean, it could just go on all night about mismanagement. Oh, I just got to go on. I just got to talk for a minute about what they do with the roads. You know? How these guys will put in bids and stuff. I just know they're doing it. They put in bids. And the guy that wins the bid is the guy that the politician likes. You know, and I mean, they can put in a bigger bid and say, what? They'll just crumple up the other bids and throw them in the trash can and take the guy that they want. And, you know, in order to make it look, say they're fixing a bridge, you know, they'll get up there and it'll take months. What a job that would take them 2 days. And what do? They inconvenience all of us because they make us go through one lane while we're waiting until they repair a bridge or whatever, you know. And they make it last months because they have to make it look good because they've got such a big, it'd be like $1 million they're going to get just to repair a bridge. And all it needs is a little bit of rebar and a little bit of cement. You know what I mean? And the job would only take like 2 days. 2 men, 2 days. They get $1 million for it. But what do? They set up all these cones. And they set up a big crane there. And they leave the crane there for weeks. I mean, this is such a scam. It's about a $500 job, and they charge $1 million for it. So, yeah, they got to make it look like it's like taking weeks. But, you know, they'll go in there, and they'll start like at noon, and they'll just sit on their shovel. They'll use it to prop up their chin. About a dozen of them standing around watching while one guy's working. You know? I mean, just the corruption in this system. There's layers upon layers of it. It's a wonder we get anything done. It's a wonder we can actually survive. Thank the farmers. But what are they going to do with the farmers? Are they going to protect their farmers? You know, because if we don't have food, we ain't going to survive, period. You know? And there's food insecurity coming. Oh, I could go on all night. Tell you guys, honestly. But, you know, in the end, this technology, cryptocurrency, it's going to more than take hold. And I think it's going to straighten a lot of stuff out. A lot of stuff, but not everything. But, you know, I for one, embrace new technology. Anyway, listen, guys, I know I've rambled on quite a bit. And I just wanted to talk about some of this stuff because it frustrates me how they can be so stupid. But it's not really that they're stupid. They're not stupid at all. They're corrupt. That's what's really wrong with them. And, I mean, why should Maduro take all the heat when they're all just as bad as he is? Maybe worse. Some of them are worse. Some of them are more, sociopath than he is. And, you know, it's that type of personality that tends to actually move up in positions in politics. It's that type of personality. We're being run by the most miserable, cruddy part of our society that moves up into that position, that lofty position in their ivory tower to look down on all of us. And, you know, I mean, I got to point out what Hillary said, you know, when she called all of us, what was the word she used? For all of us, she said that we were deplorables. Why are we deplorable? What is there about all of us that is deplorable? Why are they better? And in what way are they better than us? You know? I mean, we're heading for a situation, like I say, with so many things coming down on us that are just pinching us to the point where we don't feel secure anymore. And, you know, this is going to lead to an absolute monumental increase in the crime rate. And then we really won't feel secure. It's really going to start to bite. You know, this crisis that's happened. And at a certain point, you know, people they're going to start to feel like I do right now, that enough is enough. You know, and what can we do? I mean, we got to start thinking about our future and the future of our kids, you know, out there. And it's like a situation that's like we've been boxed into a box canyon. You know, in those old Western movies, they go into a box canyon, and the Indians would be up on top of the canyon walls rolling rocks. And they were boxed in. That's the situation we're in, basically. Except we don't have a bunch of Indians up there rolling rocks. We got these sociopaths. Thank you guys for listening to my show, and we'll catch you guys very soon again. Bye-bye.